So the tongue is a good first step.
Yeah, well said. So, I mean, if we're not stripping these people down and looking at every nook and cranny, the tongue is a great place for us to quickly diagnose and say, hey, yep, there's probably a yeast problem, but let's confirm with the functional
Hmm.
labs. And
Correct.
the toenails, too. God, I remember as a kid, my grandpa was doing that. What was it called? Lamisil. It was so popular. They were doing
Yep.
so many commercials. And I mean, that thing was in like every man above 50's uh, his dresser. And they talk about it for itching, burning, cracking, redness, and blistering. It kills the fungus that causes foot odor. So the pharmaceutical name is terbinafine. Terbinafine. So the brand name was Lamisil, but it's terbinafine, and that is an antifungal. And so they would do that to try to treat
Hmm.
these,
Hmm.
but yet then the men go drink beer and they eat sugar and they've got this internal yeast and they're just hitting the toenail topically like it's going to do some magic remedy.
Well, plus that medication is very hard in the liver. A lot of good doctors, if they're giving it, they're going to monitor their ALT, their AST, maybe their GGT liver enzyme markers to make sure it's not going high because it can be super hard in the liver.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you're going to take that, I mean, you're much better off taking some milk thistle and some NAC with it. But ideally, do something more topical that's got a tea tree, an oil of oregano, or an undesolenic acid, or
Yep.
even the carousel is nice because it has a acid in there that's very helpful at breaking down that keratin debris in yeast. So really good to have some other options besides just an internal medication. The topical, better. Like let's say it's a fluconazole or a ketoconazole or a nystatin topical, better, but it still can get in the bloodstream and still be harder on the liver too.
Yeah. And so why are we talking about toenails now? Well, because if you have yeast on your tongue, that could also be showing up elsewhere. You could have a vaginal yeast infection, toenail issues as well. And then some of the symptoms associated with this could be anything from brain fog to fatigue, sugar cravings, even dizziness, tinnitus, itchy ears. So that's ears ringing. That's tinnitus. That could be happening due to this internal acetaldehyde production happening from the yeast overgrowth.